do that. So members, last meeting you saw a fairly detailed presentation of the planning work that's been going on the Downtown Waterfront Southeast Small Area Plan. This is a roughly 50-acre geography owned by a very few number of ownership groups that have been working together along with the city and DMC to imagine a future for that district, sort of post-industrial future for that district. And today, we're not going to go into the level of detail we did before, unless you would like us to, but really want to tell you the work that's advanced since our March meeting, and invite you to accept and file the term that Kathleen is suggesting, accept and file this small area plan, as it will have impact on our future capital improvement and infrastructure investment planning. And so with that, I would like to invite my colleague from the city, Cindy Steinhauser, who is a deputy city administrator and has been leading this process for the city, and you met her in March. But Cindy, please take it away.
Morning, thank you, Patrick, and thank you to the board. Excited to be here again today, as Patrick said, to discuss the waterfront plan. Before we get into the slides, I do want to just again send a thank you to the board, not only for the time on the agenda today, but also for being a financial investor in this plan and offering the time of the really talented staff at DMC team who served on this effort, both previously on the committee and anticipate continued working with us going forward. Also here with me today is Ryan Yetzer from our team, who really shepherded this process and is available to help answer questions at the end of our brief presentation. So Allison is going to advance the slides for me. As we indicated on the previous slide, the goal for today is to provide an update on the work that's done to date and to ask that this board formally accept and file the plan that's before you. And as you see on this slide here, it's really wanted to, again, reorient the board to the location of this plan. The yellow boundary area is the 60-acre campus that Patrick referred to, and where it sits in the DMC district, as well as its proximity to key buildings in the downtown area. Next slide, please. So again, here is a visualization of the campus as it exists today, and as you can see from the current site conditions, it's mostly concrete. There's really no way to touch and experience the river, which I think is a goal that we all had going on the onset of this process. There's barriers to bringing connectivity to the neighborhoods, to the riverfront, to downtown and adjacent amenities. So it is truly a site that is longing for really great redevelopment. Next slide, please. And so from the onset and the adoption of the plan is really this vision that we've laid out, which is a mixed-use warehouse district. In the earlier presentation, I mentioned the work that's being done in the Ford site up in the cities. And we really see that this could be our own version of a Ford site, right? That embraces economic and social and environmental health and a vibrant urban environment where local businesses thrive. Next slide, please. This slide is really to help then quantify the vision. It's really meant to convey how we want to take the current gaps of the site from its heavy concrete imagery, its lack of impervious surface, its lack of green space, and obviously lack of really important infrastructure that's necessary for true redevelopment. And how we're going to take that and how it's currently impacting the current economic value of the site and translate that into economic and environmental diversity of the vision and anticipated value at full build out. And, you know, conservatively, we're looking at full build out values of, you know, a couple $100 million. So no small contribution to the local Rochester economy. Next slide, please. Also wanted to take a moment to get specific about how this vision addresses a key priority for not only the city of Rochester, but for many, including the DMC board, to address a range of housing in our community, much needed housing, including affordable housing as well as market rate housing, and then providing as part of that mixed use vision the ability for commercial activity, particularly hospitality related commercial growth. Next slide, please. Very excited about the action that's been taken to date. Obviously, the plan was approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission, and then we are particularly proud that it was adopted unanimously by the City Council. And I think that really speaks to the spirit of collaboration that we've had from the very beginning of this project. We deliberated a project that a lot of stakeholders had a voice in constructing, and as you can see from some of the comments taken from the City Council meeting where the plan was ultimately unanimously adopted, there's a lot of enthusiasm and energy around this plan. Talking about the gold standard, that's a powerful message to the market, making Rochester more walkable and livable. And truly, and I think we all felt that going in and still feel that, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to create that riverfront warehouse district. And before I go on to the next slide, I just want to pause because obviously President Carlson and Mayor Norton are key in carrying the leadership and vision of these kinds of plans, and they were at the council meeting, and if they wanted to comment related to the discussion that ultimately led to the unanimous adoption of the plan. So President Carlson or Mayor Norton, I don't know if you wanted to make any comments.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Cindy. You said many of the things I was going to pull out as part of the discussion, but I just want to emphasize that it is wonderful to see this very collaborative process across different partners in our community, but really leaning on community-informed design and setting this standard and expectation, I think, across our work and continuing to build on that approach that DMC is using in other areas of key priority projects, but really thinking about how this is such a great opportunity for economic vibrancy, expanding opportunities for housing, as Cindy said, but also affordable living, which we talk about all the time, of not only housing, but access to other key resources to promote a healthy, vibrant, thriving life for all our residents. So it's just a really promising opportunity. I think it lives our values, our foundational principles of the city, including social equity, but also environmental stewardship and thinking about the design of the built environment, connecting to hopefully district energy, which is a new effort within the city, and stormwater management and all these other really important principles to promote sustainability. So it's a really exciting opportunity for our community and looking forward to seeing how this unfolds. Mayor, did you want to add anything?
No, I think you've covered it. Thank you. There's a lot of enthusiasm for it, and we're excited.
You know, one of the things that from the beginning is we try to get this balance right about where should we lead destination medical center and where should we follow. This is one where clearly the lead is in the city, and I think this is one, honestly, tell us what you need to keep moving this forward. And, you know, one of the things that I think is important as we do this is to always think of connectivity. This is very much of connecting the waterfront, and Rochester becomes a destination because of that. It's also a destination because part of the city and Discovery Walk. And if we're really mindful about how this connects, say, via Historic Third and connects to those others, I think part of what we really need to do in our body is to see that connectivity and ask for you guys to give us a very clear sense of where do you need help on this. So, including last meeting, Mayor, I really appreciate you telling me it's a great idea to take my paddleboard down the river, but it gets a little shallow some places. So, thank you for enlivening me. Patrick, go ahead.
Jim,
by the way, Patrick, I'm sorry. Before I introduce you, sorry for that. I just wanted to note that Senator Sanchim has joined the meeting. Great to have you, Senator. I know you're busy and happy you're here. Go ahead, Pat.
I just noting that Jim Campbell has his hand up, so you can't always.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead, Jim.
Well, in the years that we've been working at DMC, very candidly, I think this is probably the most exciting project that I have seen since day one. In fact, I look at this 60 plus acres as the second coming of the Ford project in St. Paul. And I think we need to think as creatively as we have ever thought. We need to bring in the very best world-class developers that we can possibly find to help create something as exciting as Rochester, as we're seeing happen on the Ford site in St. Paul. The second thing I'd say is that I spent Monday and Tuesday in Rochester, at the Hilton Hotel looking down from the 16th floor, and spent a lot of time driving around, and we've done a great job of protecting human beings from the river from Soldier Field Golf Course to Silver Lake. You can see the river, but you can't get to it. And so I think the opportunity to open up the river as an asset rather than a liability to downtown Rochester is absolutely critical. And so I support, I just congratulate the city and everyone that's been involved in this. This has incredible potential for the long-term well-being of the city of Rochester.
Any other comments?
Yeah.
Paul has.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I couldn't agree more. And our organization actually is involved in the affordable housing development at the Ford site, and it is very similar. And the work that they're doing right now to create water space and create waterfront through that site is really starting to take shape. And it's a wonderful opportunity to both do affordable housing, but as well as market rate housing. And it's just a wonderful site. And I agree, it's some of the most exciting stuff that I've seen since I've been involved. So bravo, and great community process as well. Glad to see a lot of community voices shaping this.
Any other comments?
Brooke, Council President has her hand up.
Go ahead, Council President.
Yeah, Chair Rybeck, I just wanted to appreciate your comments about what is needed from DMC, because this is going to be a collective effort to realize this project, and we don't want to see this as just a plan sitting on a shelf. We want to figure out what it takes to make this a reality over time. So thank you for that comment. We will absolutely be bringing it forward.
Great, thank you. Just a final comment I'd like to make. Am I seeing any other comments? And okay, the final comment that I wanted to make is we have looked at this idea about how do you create an experience for people within Rochester that is a place where you can come to the world's best hospital, to the world famous Mayo Clinic, et cetera, and can also do something you can't do in a city like, oh, I don't know, let's pick Cleveland, where you can connect directly to incredible green amenities. And usually we've been thinking, okay, how do we green up Discovery Walk or Heart of the City, and we're doing all of that. But I think it's important for us to turn that around. And I think starting at Mayo and downtown, but starting with these amazing green amenities so close to the medical visitor experience. Soldiers Field, certainly, Kutsky Park, all of the great parks and bike trails for maybe 100 miles connecting this and the river. So we don't need to necessarily start from zero with greening this community. We simply need to connect a few blocks. And so this is a very, very exciting opportunity. I'm going to stay on this connection theme because this is the thing that we can really do with this specific body is help on that connective tissue. So thank you very much. So we really appreciate that presentation, and I think public members, you're hearing a lot of support from this board, so ask us for help. Let's move on to some updates from the city of Rochester.
No, I think we are going to, did we need a motion on that, Kathleen, to?
Yes, I'm sorry, I was muted. Mr. Chair, there should be a motion to receive and file.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Let's start with, do we have a motion to receive and file?
Was Ms. Steinhauser done with her presentation?
There were a couple of other slides that did talk about some of the next steps,
Okay.
but I think we heard strongly the enthusiasm for advancing. So
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the maker of the motion or the seconder.
In the chair's enthusiasm, he wants to apologize for
Race Square and transportation. I say brief updates, but it depends on the conversation we just had. But I'm going to ask Jamie Rothy, who has been leading our work with Heart of the City, to again provide a brief update specifically on the work we have been doing with Peace Plaza and the progress in that project. Jamie?
Yes, good morning, everybody. Thanks, Allison, for moving forward the slides this morning, and thank you for having me. Today's update, I'll be providing an update regarding milestones, the business forward strategy, and the construction schedule. We'll also wrap up our conversation with a few updates regarding some project evolution and some outstanding issues, as well as the inaugural year and activation strategy. The images that you're seeing in front of you are some exciting images of progress in the area. If you haven't been down to the area lately, you'll notice that on the left-hand side, this is the corner of First Ave and 2nd Street looking north. So imagine Eagle Drug is to your right, and just to your left, you can see the Marriott Hotel. And using the business forward strategy, we're trying to open up areas as quickly as possible, not keeping things fenced in so that the space can be used as quickly as possible. And so this is an example of the street pavers being complete and also allowing the use of the street for the Marriott traffic. So the valet